I tried to make a video earlier, like towards the end of the day, trading day yesterday, and I was so tired. I forgot to upload it, so it really didn't matter, but, excuse me, I just woke up. But this has just been, like, sticking with me so much today and yesterday about how this was backwards. All of this was backwards. The pattern was the same, but it was, like, mirrored from what it usually is. Like someone came in at 4 a.m. and flipped a reverse switch on how it was going to trade today. And by reverse, I don't mean necessarily, oh, it's like usually up. We're going to make it go down. Like, I feel like if you turned this whole thing around, like all of this buying pressure didn't start down here, it would have been at the end of the day. This is what should have been over here. This should have started over here, this downtrend here, and then we should have rode this shit like this up, but this direction. And then by the time we got to the buying pressure, it wouldn't have been starting down here. It would have already been up. It would have been up here. And we should have been, like I said, in between 39, 40-ish, something like that. But all this, like, this was the difference today. This volume is usually less than this volume when we're having green days. The patterns are all the same, but the selling volume here is more than the buying volume here. And we get this little pool type pattern between the 4 and 7 hour. And then we get this little rooftop pattern between the 7 and 8 hour. It was just different. It was like reversed, backwards. So I don't know. It's weird. Again, something about up here between like around 40-20. Just straight blatant. Just like I almost feel like this wasn't the algo today. I honestly almost feel like this wasn't. I feel like this day kicked off with such immense buying pressure wherever it's coming from, whether it's new fidelity orders or whatever it is. And they freak the fuck out. Because like I said, once you start having so much buying pressure coming in, you'll overwhelm this program. That's why they're routing buying pressure and shit out. If there's too much buying pressure that it can't handle and it can't calculate what the fuck's going on, it has to pause every time something changes. It has to pause and learn, pause and learn. If a bunch of this shit is coming in and buying pressure is just overwhelming it, it won't be able to process its algorithm. It'll fucking stall, basically. And then it'll just be flying up. It won't know when to sell or how to sell. It'll constantly be trying to recalculate a new formula to process. And this shit looked like human beings right here. Like, this just looked like someone flipped the switch off in here because this shit was going crazy. And they were just like, man, fucking shut that shit down. They borrowed like 3 million shares today, and I feel like they turned it into 30 million. Seriously, like, that's just what it felt like watching this shit. It's frustrating. It's just that shit makes me mad, because I watch this shit all day, and I can see that this looked nothing like a normal chart, not like how they usually try to make it look like a normal trading day. Absolutely nothing about any of this shit even remotely looks close to fucking normal or following a normal trend or pattern. None of it. Like, that's just insane. That $2 fucking run up and then just a sell off back down to the 38.40 mark. What, like, no, man. No. If it was any other stock, maybe you can make a case, but not this one. Literally not this one. So, yeah, I don't know. I really feel like someone flipped some sort of reverse switch here. And if this was the algo doing all this, I feel like this was supposed to be the start of our day. This over here was supposed to be the start. And this should have ended, riding up high, green day most of the day, and finishing out probably somewhere between $39 and $40. I don't know, but now I have a new pattern break to watch. If I see this and see, now I just need another day where it does this to see if it's gonna do the same bullshit. Just insane, man. Seriously, insane. This motherfucker was green all day, like all day for the most part. That's craziness. Scotty, I commented on some of your shit. I'm already in AM Delta. I got it yesterday. I hated having to. I don't like having to play leverage positions because that just means I'm losing money somewhere, no matter what. But it's what you have to do when you're late to the party. You have to. If you're late, you have to. You have to delegate some money to be lost in order to make sure you gain money properly. And it's not necessarily going to be lost, but like if you do it right. Like I got 33% of the investments in short-term puts that have like a short expiration and they aren't super out of the money from where it's at. And then I've got 66% of the investment in long-term further out expiration options. So those ones are probably going to die for a little bit, which is most of my money, and it's going to die, but then I'll make some money on the downside while it's going down, and then sell that, make a little bit of money there, and then just a waiting game from there for it to go back up. So, I mentioned stuff. Yeah, you were talking about the volatility. Yeah, like AMC's volatility has been, this program is designed to kill the volatility right now. Like that's what it's doing. I'm not necessarily saying it was designed to do that, but it knows what it's supposed to be doing. I know that much. It knows that it is not supposed to let this motherfucker blow up. And it is not supposed to allow retail traders to make money. So it is killing the options chain by crushing the volatility, routing 66+% of orders and volume off the exchange. There's all your volatility right there for the most part, and then it's using a high frequency trading system to constantly trade back and forth at lower prices and then higher prices and then lower prices, and it's just a constant wave that just kills all options, all of them. That's why, so if you're buying AMC options, like the only real play is far out expirations that aren't going to have ridiculous theta decay. And even if you had like January 2022 options that you bought somewhere, this little shit right here would have given you some value in them, and then you could have sold them. Like that's a lot of how I've been playing them. Is as soon as they're green, as soon as I see profit in them, the moment it starts going down, I get rid of it and take my profit, and then I'll wait and see if it goes down further, like it does. I'll see how it goes for the day, and then towards the end of the day, I'll just buy another long expiration contract. But I haven't really been doing that with AMC lately because they have really just been, there hasn't been very many boosts like this that you get to see some serious volatility in the stock and have an opportunity to make money. So gotta look elsewhere. So I'm fucking, God, man, I am. That shit is eating me up. I was so happy when I saw AMD go down to 89 because there was another opportunity a couple months ago where it was in like the low 70s and I wanted to grab some and I didn't, and I ended up getting in like the upper mid, almost 80, when I finally bought some shares of it. And then when I saw it, like, because it went back down again from there, like went up into the 80s and came back down into the 70s, so I wasn't really playing with options. And I was waiting for people to be like, yeah, AMD is, they're a wonderful fucking company. They make great processing units. And now they're finally stepping up and building shit to rival Intel. Because I was in Intel for a long time, for a while, before I made the switch to AMD. Which for some would say is probably a premature switch. But I see AMD... I'm not going to say they're going to overtake Intel. But honestly, I mean, my last PC build in 2012, I used an Intel i7. Um, I skipped AMD, even though AMD processors were out then. They were nowhere near as good as Intel. But if I were to build another PC today, there's a very good chance I may go with an AMD processing unit. Very good chance. Or Qualcomm. I like Qualcomm too. The Snapdragon processors are phenomenal. They run great. That's what most people's mobile processing unit is. Um, so for long-term investing, you really can't go wrong with either one of them. Intel, AMD, Qualcomm. Over the long term, they're all going to produce. They all already do produce, but Intel's just kind of still the king of the market, king of the castle. That's going to cost you more in most cases. So, but yeah, I'm in there. Yeah, fuck, man. I made that video and I just fell asleep. Forgot to process, trying to remember everything I had in it. Yeah, I was talking about the share count. Adam Aaron, CEO. Anyone who knows me or has read any of my comments or anything, I don't give two shits about Adam Aaron. He is a suit. He is a guy who I know got where he is. Definitely not off his good looks. So who knows what the fuck he did to get into his positions of power that he's been in. People don't get to those positions doing good deeds. I promise you that. They don't. They don't get those positions of power by being wonderful, phenomenal people. They're usually skeevy, conniving, backstabbing, brown-nosing individuals, for the most part. Not always, but you can expect someone who didn't build a company, that's the fucking CEO of the company, to have ass-kissed their way in some fashion or set someone up to take their position and step up the ladder. 99% of the time, that's how that shit goes. And Adam Aaron sees an opportunity here. The only reason this company is saved is because of us. That's the bottom fucking line. The only reason. And he's taken every opportunity he can to save his company, which, fine, he's a CEO, understandable, but you communicate with your fucking investors. And I understand from his standpoint, these aren't exactly the most intelligent investors in the world. They're not going to understand what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to say. So why am I going to communicate with them? Fair point. But at the end of the day, you not doing that, these motherfuckers could sell everything and crush you, which at this point wouldn't really matter to him. Honestly, it wouldn't. It wouldn't hurt him that much. Sure, he would love to have another opportunity to make a lot more capital while this price is up the way it is. But he's already made enough money to make his company survive through the rest of this decade. Through the rest of this decade, he'd be fine. And he's going to start making money. The whole Black Widow streaming on Disney. Disney's getting sued right now by Scarlett Johansson because fucking they breached her contract. Like I said, a lot of these actors, they want their films released theatrically first for at least 45 days. They want their movies in box office theaters, not at home. And fuck that. That was dumb. I was going to watch Black Widow too, and then it was like $30. And I had like the Disney Plus fucking Hulu, whatever, ESPN Plus subscription shit bundle. And then motherfucker still wanted $30 from me. You lost your goddamn mind. I'm not paying $30 to watch a fucking hour and a half long movie. That's wild. Not at home. Not like that. I'd rather personally myself go to a movie theater. I would rather go to a movie theater if I'm gonna pay that kind of money and enjoy it on a gigantic screen with fucking, surround sound that could at any moment, collapse one of my lungs. That's how I want to spend that $30. But yeah, so this was interesting today. This is completely different. All of this is brand new. All of this from opening of trading at 4 a.m. all the way through. This is a whole new shebang-a-bang. Similarities for sure. Patterns that I've seen, but not in this order. So I don't know. I don't know if this was something new. Again, I don't know if this has something to do with the shareholder meeting. is again back to Adam Aaron. If there's something nefarious and something illegal going on, the last people to know about it are the shareholders. That's just the way it goes. If there's something wrong, they have to contact who they have to contact. They have to contact the SEC. There has to be investigation done. All kinds of shit. Typically, you're not in a scenario with shareholders where a shareholder meeting happens and you desperately want to know the share count. You're not really too concerned about it in most normal situations. This is one where, yeah, we want to know what the fuck's up. We know you know how many shares there are or how many people voted at least. Yeah, no problem going out onto a little YouTube channel and asking for shares and telling us that we own over 80% of the float, blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden it's secret. And I'd made comment about it, and I did the other video I recorded prior to anyone even finding out the information. That they weren't finding out. I made that known that Adam Aaron's the CEO first and foremost. His goal is not to do what we want him to do, although he is doing a good job at least of listening. But at the end of the day, his job is to make this company money whenever he can, keep it afloat, restructure it, grow it, help it thrive into a changing environment. And he's done a great job doing that so far, so I give him credit for that. But still, the only reason he's been able to do that is because of the retail investor. The only reason. If no one jumped into this thing, AMC would no longer exist. Citadel and company would have shorted it into the ground, and they would have bankrupted it. Unless my other theory, my little tiny theory, just another possibility, like I tell you, what could have legitimately happened here. It's possible, but there's just not. There's way more supporting evidence to suggest that the path we're on now and who we're fighting now and everything that's going on is what happened and why we're where we're at today. But anyway, oh God, I'm gonna go get my coffee and a very early breakfast. And we'll see what happens around 4 o'clock. I read something about an Amazon sell-off I gotta look into. Because I missed that. I was sleeping. So I'll probably talk about that in the next one. Alright guys, later.